really hard to find the balance and the gameplay between Taunt and Guard. Right, like, Taunt wasn't that much of a problem. The only problem I had with Taunt was for new players, basically, right? New players was hard to get around to see how to beat Taunt, but all cards could done damage to a Taunter. With Afro Kiss, you could also attack Taunter, right? It just removed 1 health. But now with Guard, it's nearly like 80% of the melee minions will never be able to go to the Guard. And Guard having high health, 4 and 7, Sunder's not gonna be enough. Yes, exactly. And that was much more interesting. You were much more fighting, even if you had to attack the Taunter. Now, Guard feels like they're just pussies running into corners and putting in, like, trying just to surround them. I play like that. You probably played like that. Everybody's gonna play it like that. Like, what is the point of having attacks on a Guard unit when it's not gonna attack back or attack itself? What happened with the new patch? They changed Guard and Taunt. They changed Taunt to Guard because that will make you unable to use your abilities. But now, none of the gods have activated abilities. None of them. There is no god in the game. There is nothing in the game except leaders that have abilities. Now, Taunt just doesn't, like, block your abilities anymore because nobody has them except leaders, right? This will be an interesting decision if they want to put, you could put Taunt in the same way as before, but allowing abilities, because blunking movement is really something like amazing in this game, right? Like, what was happening for me, I felt like in a strategic game you have the big tanks in the front of the battlefield and you have the archer and the ranged units in the back, and that's how an army works, right? You want the big tanks in the front and the archers in the back. But what's happening now? What's happening now is that we're playing in an army comp that you have the archers in the front and the shields in the back. Whenever a melee unit comes, it can't even attack the archer and cannot even attack the other one. Like, cannot even attack the shield in the back. It may feel more intuitive in the game, but as a war game or as a strategic game, it doesn't make any sense. Why would your melee shield unit be protected by your ranged squishy units? Honestly, I like everything that they did, and I like that they did to change Taunt. I like the idea of trying something else. I like the idea of trying Guard. But now that I played a lot of it today, Guard feels like the other thing of what it should be. Like, you want to take aggro from your opponents. You want to force them to kill you before to go and attack your other units. What if they revert the change, right? What if they go to Taunt? And what they decide to do is that you must target the Taunter before targeting anything else. You can still move, but only adjacent to the Taunter. Or if this is too much and too hard, just make it that you cannot move, right? So now, that will make it like you actually have to either use Freya's ability or Poseidon ability on the Taunter. You can still use your ability, but you have to use it on the Taunter because your leader is taunted. Or you could totally ignore that and make it that you can still use all your abilities without any problems, right? So they can just choose to revert to the old Taunt that only is going to restrain movement and basic attack. By doing that, Zeus is going to be a little bit stronger, Because the reason why Zeus is really bad right now is because you place your taunt or your guard. If your guard is able to survive, you're probably gonna win the game because he's not gonna be able to touch anything. He cannot touch your guard, he cannot touch all the other units, and you're just putting more. And this is what hurting Zeus, because Blink kills all the Greek decks. Having enough damage to kill a brute that is not well placed, or an Athena that you already have board, just kills you, right? Athena was something that was really awesome to have in your Greek decks because it will, you know, it will force your opponent to trade on your Athena before trading into other thing else. Now, Athena is just like never in battle. Athena is a meat shield for everybody. When is the last time you saw an Athena attacking? Aside once in all the new patch. Athena attacked my 2/4 Steropies, and she got executed by Thanatos because of that. It was way better to not attack and to just move it away like a pussy, and Athena will live and it will be a better play than actually attacking with her. The decision making around Guard is much less tactical in the decision making around Taunt, right? Because think about it this way. Before, you had to prepare to be taunted on turn 6. You were like, oh, I could move all my units there, but then if I place all my units around myself and he plays an Athena, then all my archers and all my low health minions are going to be forced to attack that Athena. I don't want to do that. So it makes you play differently. Now, you're like, oh well, the guy's going to have Athena? Who gives a fuck? I don't care. I'm just gonna do whatever I want. Like, Athena's gonna go there, he's gonna protect his Zeus. I'll just kill Athena. Like, he's gonna put Athena in the middle of all my units? Well, no problem. I'm just gonna walk back, attack it, walk back, attack it, and walk back, attack it. You're playing a big shield in front of your opponents, and they're like, okay, come and fight me. And you're like, nope, I'm gonna step back, and like, I'm gonna step back and kill you with range. And you're like, whoa, I just played my guard unit, and it's basically 6 mana, gain 7 health. Taunt countering abilities, meaning that now we don't have any more abilities. Maybe that was too strong. Before, like, Athena was like, where is the creek? Athena was like really cool, right? They could buff Athena to a Warcry that whenever she's deployed, she deals 1 damage to all opponents or adjacent to her. But that is not the problem. The problem is literally Guard. Like, and Guard is a nice try. But like I said, when you have a card that is neutral and that it says like nullify a Guard for a whole turn and be able to attack whatever you want, right? Blink was still strong against Taunts. Like, don't get me wrong. Blink is still strong against taunts, but the difference into blinking a taunter, it's not the same of blinking a guard. While blinking the guard, you allow you to attack the like 3, 4, 5 units around the guard unit that you couldn't before, and guard would only lock 1 or 2 of you units if it wasn't adjacent, right? While Guard would no matter how much units you have on board, if all their units are Guard and you're melee or you only have range with 1 attack, you're not gonna be able to kill the Aphrodite who kissed the opponent Athena, right? Unless you blink, right? So now blink is really good. Before, Athena would have done maybe 1 or 2 of your units, and then you have spread out the other ones, and you could still attack the Aphrodite to kill the Aphrodite. Now that you have no more shield on the Athena, now you can start attacking the Athena. That was working. Before, you had to blink the Athena away to use your archers or to use your range unit to attack the Athena. Now you're like, I don't need blink anymore for that. I'm just gonna walk back and attack her. playing Athena on a naked board is really bad now because Ward needs to protect other thing, and she's just a meat shield. Before, putting Athena on an empty board will force your opponent to trade on her, and that's what you want to do. Maybe it should be Warcry taunt adjacent enemies like a one-time thing. But if we do that taunt is a Warcry and it only lasts for one turn, then when you play Athena, your opponent's gonna be, well, I'm not gonna attack past the turn. Athena's gonna kill maybe one or attack one time, and then the next turn he's gonna walk back and attack it. And if Athena has Ward, it's like right now, let's be honest, like the ability of Athena right now, which is to be placed anywhere on the map, it's not really relevant because you want to place it next to your leader and next to your units. Like, and whenever you want to place Athena, you want to build a wall so your opponent cannot get to her. So by building in a wall, you're going to put your units all adjacent and your leader, and you're going to put Athena in the back. Which, why the fuck does she has a Warcry that makes you deploy her anywhere on the map? Why will you put it adjacent to your opponents when they just going to walk back and attack it? Or just kill it? See, like, that will be interesting. That will be actually a better idea than just putting in for a turn. So it will be like they have a tag and they're taunted. So when Athena comes in the battlefield or when Brutes comes to the battlefield, the adjacent minions are taunted, but not the other ones who's gonna come around. Meaning that if Athena moves to another space, the new adjacent units will not be taunted. I want to see that, because making it that way means that you need to really be careful where to place your taunt unit, because you have to get the most on it, right? It's not gonna work to put your Athena just around one leader, because whatever next he's gonna play, they're gonna be able to that will make it the lockdown of early game. Like, if we start the game, you advance, and I advance, I put a Brute, and the next one I put an Aphrodite, then my Brute would only guard your leader, but whatever next you play, it's not gonna be taunted if I move my Brute around to taunt it. But that will be really interesting to think about it, right? Because this is one thing that was making Zeus strong, is that he could place a Brute, Afro Kiss on the next turn, and lock the enemy leader in the board. But now with what EOE is trying to think and to give his idea is that, you know, you're only gonna taunt the adjacent enemies, and it's gonna be like a Warcry, and that will make it really awesome. Like, that will be a middle into the OP taunt that you couldn't move, you couldn't use abilities, and you had to attack him, and the weird, like, ward that we have that makes that your units will never fight and will just be in the back exist, and not like just be a meat shield, basically protected by the rangers in front of her. Maybe something that's gonna work in the middle of that, where you're gonna use them to protect your range units, you're gonna use them to protect your other board, but they're only gonna be effective when they're played, and this will make it that your decision about the games are much more interesting. Like, you're gonna have to think where to place your taunt. Do I place it on the turn 3 just to taunt his leader? Because if he plays the Scotty after, I cannot move my Brute and taunt the Scotty, because the Scotty's gonna move away and attack it. Now it makes like maybe less, but what if he goes first and he plays Scotty? Then maybe I want to play my Brute and taunt that Scotty, so that Scotty now, if they keep that, she can be placed anywhere on the map. It will really be good versus a bushed archer or something. Yeah, exactly, but then you use your taunt as a Warcry on only one archer. Then, if that's your decision, trading a 2 mana for a 6 mana, well then, yeah. But right now, she was like top tier to like hell tier. No one really want to play her. Like, you don't want to play Athena, you want to play Guard 7 health. That card is 6 mana, Guard 7 health. Nothing else. I don't think Guard is a fun mechanic. Like Thanatos cannot kill the Guard unit. Sobek cannot block a Guard unit. Like, any ability wise cannot affect the Guard unit. Meaning it that the Guard, like before, Guard was countering ability. Taunt was countering abilities, but now Guard's still gonna counter abilities because of that. Because you're not able to target your opponents unless it's like AoE like Anubis, but we don't have that much AoE. I just feel that Guard is a weird mechanic that is countered so easily by Blink, and if you don't have Blink or not any other sort of removal to a Guard unit, you're just gonna lose it because you can't attack anything, right? The Brute has a shield 1 and a kiss from Afro. Or if you played Brute and he killed it before your Afro kissed it, or before you're able to make the wall to zone the melee units, you're just gonna lose. And this is why most people are losing with Zeus. If you're able to build the wall, you win. If you're not, you lose. Like, don't give a crap about all the rest of the things. This is what's happening right now in the game. In all fairness, I have used Warcry to get vision of the enemy Medusa on Athena. I mean, of course you can use it for weird stuff like that. But the whole point of Athena is not that. Like, the effect of Guard right now is, okay, can I deal with Guard? Well, yes. Okay, well, that's no problem. I can keep playing and I can wreck the Zeus. Now, if he plays that Guard, if he plays the Guard and I can't remove it, then next turn is gonna be like an Aphrodite, or it's gonna be I don't know, a Spartan that's gonna protect him. Furthermore, then it's gonna be he's gonna have removal because, you know, like you played Judgment and Fire Imp and everything. Then he can play another Arachne. He's gonna spawn even more blockers. He's gonna be able to play Hades to fear you away from his guy. So now your melees are even harder to get there. And then if you kill the Taunter, he's just gonna place an Athena after, and still gonna be a 6 mana 0/7 Guard or whatever you want to call it. Guard and Protect are both anti-fun in your opinion? Well, Protect is only like, it's only 1 damage and it forces you to attack it. But Guard is like godly barrier that you can do anything, not even target, unless you kill that guy. Protect is the same thing, but to a lesser extent with Spartan. And even if Protect is less good, Spartan with this is the same card, but he has Protect 1, he has Guard, and 1 less mana cost. When we all know that Protect is worse than Guard. Why is that? Should be the other way around at least. But I do like the old Taunt more. Of course you like the old Taunt more because it was doing something on the board. Now you're just playing your Guard, crossing your hand, he's not gonna get killed. Before you're like, well, I'm gonna put his Guard, my Taunter, he's gonna need to invest damage into it. So if he's not able to kill it, maybe I'm gonna still be able to kiss it. But then he's still gonna be able to play, you know, other range units around it, and my range unit's not gonna be all protected. If he wants to kill my Aphrodite, he's free to kill my Aphrodite. But now every player plays Aphrodite in range of the Guard unit, so Aphrodite is guarded and cannot be killed. Right now, I feel like if we say that Guard is too OP, they're gonna say, well, guys, there's Blink. You can just play Blink and you're gonna shit on Guard. And like, yes, but you don't want to be forced to run double Blink in all of your decks to shit on Guard. Right? And this is what happening. People are playing Blinks on every deck. Even aggro are playing Blinks to just get the Guard out of the way and keep going face. Taunt was annoying too, but you had to put your Taunt units in range of attack at least. Yeah, if your range unit were out of range of your opponent and you use your melee units to block his leader out of your range units, like a No More War, right? You use your front line to protect your back line. Then the opponent front line cannot pass through your front line, so his Guard unit couldn't go to your archers or to your units. so you were still being able to do some, decision making. Yeah, so basically, with the new guard effects, made Xiao Feng kind of useless. Yeah, exactly. Because you're gonna, like, if your brute dies, well, Xiao Feng will die, and if if it sticks, you don't need any more taunters, right? Before you were like, well, if he kills my taunter, I'm gonna be in trouble. Maybe playing a Xiao Feng on turn 4, or if I don't have it. So playing multiple taunts before you could literally taunt multiple units, but now playing one guard, you put all your units around and you're like, come on, come through the wall. As the 2 attack does nothing. Yeah, but like, exactly. Like, 1 attack or 2 attack on the guard unit doesn't matter anymore, 0, because your opponent is not gonna use melee units to kill him, because you're gonna block them. So it's kind of useless. They might as well have 0 attack on guard units. Right now, yeah, right now it feels 3 mana, 0/4 guard, and here we have a 6 mana, 0/7 guard with no abilities because it is not relevant on how you want to play it. Unless you want to do it weird stuff like getting vision on a unit in the bush. Well, then Atina's not gonna do his job of guarding. So yeah, basically that was my thoughts on guard and taunt and how it affects the game in CB4.